Do you like starting out against a team like Nebraska, against a quality Power 4 opponent, or you maybe want to ease into it? Where are you at on just instantly into the deep end?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We really don't have a choice, so it doesn't really matter what I want. Obviously, you'd like to have a game to settle into the season and get ready and then play Nebraska down the road, but that's not what we're doing. So, we got to be ready to go from the first snap of the game, and I feel really good about this group of guys, and I'm excited to go attack Nebraska and, see what happens.
Do you learn anything from the Pitt game last year? Is there anything you can take from that and kind of play it forward?
I would just say, we jumped on them early and then we just kind of fell asleep in the second half, couldn't execute, couldn't do anything right. So, if we get out to a fast start against Nebraska, then we just got to keep the foot on the gas and, keep going.
Keegan and Marshall.
Does a part of you get extra excited when you know you're going up against a really quality quarterback on the other side?
Yeah, 100%. I feel like whenever your competition level is higher, then you're, more intrigued to, go out there and play better and prove, that you're one of the best in the country. That's my job, is to go out there and prove why I believe that I'm one of the best, and go out there and show why I am.
Online and on a national level, almost everyone's big Nebraska. It seems like they're not even giving Cincinnati a chance. Are you guys using that discourse as motivation at all?
We obviously feel like we can go in there and compete with anybody and win any game. So, we haven't really paid too much attention to it or, talked about it much. But it's our job to go in there and prove ourselves right, and go in there and find a way to win a game. But, we're not paying too much attention to it, but definitely use it as motivation for sure.
Alex and Scott.
Brendan, when you watch your tape from last season, how do you balance between looking at what you did really well for the first 5 weeks versus what you could improve on from the last 7 games of the season?
Obviously I would just say find the good that was still in those, bad games, I guess you could call them. Obviously they weren't up to the standard that I would like to play at, but just find the good in them and then, take the good and then try to flush the bad and try to, be as good as possible, obviously every single snap. And, I think the experience that I got from last year in the system will be a huge benefit for me this year, and I feel a lot more comfortable, obviously, and I feel like Sad trusts me a lot more, so it'll be a fun year for sure. It's my job to just go out there and execute the plays that he calls, but I feel really good about this group of wideouts and running backs and the O-line in front of me, so it's my job to just go out there and trust what he's calling and just trust what I'm seeing and let it rip.
You played a role in getting some of those wide receivers here. Between you and them, how excited is everyone just to go there and finally get in the national spotlight? Guys like Jeff, Lindenwood doesn't make TV a whole lot.
Yeah, no, for sure. I know those guys are excited. I'm excited to, get those guys the ball and let them show that what they can do. And, obviously we believe in those guys because we got them here. But, I'm just excited to see what they can do on the big stage. Obviously, get out there and just get the ball in their hands and let them go to work. But, we're really fired up.
Extra question, mullet-wise, Sorsby or Rayola?
I mean, I'm going to take myself, but, he's got a good mullet too. I don't know, he probably considers it more of like a mohawk, faux hawk type deal. So, I consider mine like the mole hawk. We saw all the tweets and stuff at Big 12 Media Day. So, I'll say mine though.
When you look at this group of pass catchers, what do you think sets them apart? Is it versatility? Is it having a couple guys that you can count on at the top? Like, what stands out to you, the quarterback, as you look at this group of receivers after camp?
Yeah, I would just say obviously the depth that we have, and then just they're all have their different their traits, and a lot of them can run obviously, and a lot of them have a little bit different aspects to their game. Some of them are a little bit smoother runners, some of them are a little bit faster, down the field, and some guys can go up and make plays. Some guys are more contested catch guys. So just stuff like that. Obviously we'll find out more this season as we go week to week and see what these guys can truly do in game. But we feel great about the group of wideouts that we have.
Coach, you mentioned that Nebraska has a lot of veteran presence there in the secondary. What have you been able to see on Nebraska's film, really, that you could get guys like Jeff, Caleb, Cyrus Allen going here early on Thursday night?
Yeah, so obviously they're a physical group, just top to bottom defensively. It's their brand. It's our job to find ways to get our guys the ball in space, and obviously it's going to be tough to tackle for the first game of the season. That's just how it is. So we got to do our best to get the ball in space and make guys miss. but you know they're a talented group of DBs and a talented defense in general. So it's our job to go out there and execute from snap one.
From an offensive perspective, what is something that maybe fans don't know that's changed over the offseason that you're most excited about that people will see?
I would say just, you know, the depth that we have. I think there's a lot more guys, you know, that can go out there and help us win games. I don't think they're going to be able to key on any one particular person. I like to think that I've grown in the offense as well, just comfortability, and then just, you know, I always keep joking. I was joking about it being a veteran, but I kind of am now going on my, you know, my 4th year. So just overall comfortability in game and just going out there and letting it rip and, you know, letting the fans see what our guys can do.
How much confidence do you have in Joe Cotton? He can seamlessly slide into that left tackle spot.
We've got a ton of reps throughout fall camp, and, you know, I've been able to see him protect for me. Not really, actually, since he's on the blind side, I haven't really been able to see him protect for me, but I know that he's done a good job, and then watching it back on film, you know, he's getting better each practice. So I got a lot of trust for our guys up front. I know that they're going to do a good job.
Scott?
Mr. Royer, will he have a breakout year?
I would assume so. I'd like to think so. You know, I think he's the best tight end in the country. So hopefully our wideouts can, you know, give him some more one-on-one matchups and stuff. Hopefully defenses won't be able to key on him as much. And if they do, you know, then we'll take the ball elsewhere. But you know, obviously he's a really good tight end and a phenomenal player. So it's my job to get him the ball and, you know, let him do what he does. Because if I do that, then he will have a breakout year for sure.
Any other questions for Brendan? Thank you, sir.
Thank y'all.